Now what we can go ahead and do is we can just go ahead and stick this baby right into here. So we can go ahead and craft this from all the stuff in our other system. And there we go. Now we got him back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more All The Mods 11 today. I have some problems that I need to solve, mainly with my storage system's auto-crafting. So this auto-crafting, while it is cheap and easy, it kind of is really bad when you have multiple items for one recipe. When you're trying to make these cards in the specific recipes, if you have the wrong thing, it's just not going to work with a lot of these things. So it's conflicting recipes here are not solvable. It's just you have to go through a lot of effort to make it work. So today we are actually going to be going for refined storage, specifically for its auto crafting. I'm gonna try to integrate the two, mainly because I want to keep this thing's wireless storage, because this thing is infinitely rangeable when I have that, versus this, well, not this. This thing's right here is wireless storage, which does not appear to have an infinite thing. We're gonna keep our integrated dynamic storage system, but we're gonna connect it also to refined storage for this to work. So for us to start, we're first gonna need to get ourselves this quartz enriched iron. It is very cheap. We just need some iron and some quartz, and then we get ourselves a bunch of that. That is actually very good. After that, we just need to combine some stone with that quartz enriched, and then we get ourselves our machine casing. Now, for a basic component, we're gonna need to get ourselves the controller. This will be what stores the power inside of our storage system. For us to make that, we just need some more of this quartz enriched, some silicone, the machine casing, and this advanced processor. Now, the advanced processor is not too difficult to get. In fact, there are many processors that are pretty much the same, but only one ingredient changes. In this case, it's the diamond, and then the others, it would change to different things. So then we're also gonna need redstone, silicone, and this processing bind, which is just a slime ball and some string, and then we get ourselves a good bunch of that. So that allows us to make ourselves the raw advanced processor, which we can then just smelt. I don't think, yeah, I can't put that into there. So then we can just go ahead and shove this into here, and that should allow us to get ourselves this advanced processor, which once we have, we can go ahead and get ourselves the controller. So there we go. We'll go ahead and then put this thing off to the side over here. The next thing that we're going to need to make this normal is the crafting grid. So for that, I need another advanced processor, a crafting table, and a normal grid. Now, this normal grid is fairly easy. I just need some glass, another machine casing, some quartz, and then some more of these processors. This one replaces the diamond with gold, and then we have destruction core and the annihilation core. The construction core takes glowstone, annihilation takes quartz. Both take a basic processor, which replaces the gold in the other recipe with iron. It is all incredibly simple. Oh, and I just discovered another problem with the integrated dynamics crafting. So I keep turning blocking mode off. I thought I had already turned this off before, but apparently it turns itself back on. Yeah, that's another thing we don't want to have to deal with.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I just found an even better reason to get rid of this auto crafting. This thing crashed my world because when I opened it, everything went wrong. So crafting job terminal has got to go. We don't want that anywhere near any of my stuff. Okay, but there we go. I got everything. So here we go. Now we gotten ourselves the grid. So now with that, pretty much the only thing left that I would need is a simple crafting table. Actually, I'm not going to waste my time crafting another crafting table because I got one right here, and I'm not going to need this baby anymore. So we can go ahead and take that and make ourselves our crafting grid. There we go. So now we can go ahead and slap this baby right on top of here. It's gonna drain all the power out of there, but it's fine because we don't really need it right now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and then move these guys over to here. The reason being, if I go ahead and then find myself, which one let me put the energy in? Yeah, exports energy from the network. So that way I can go ahead and just slap this guy right back here. I don't want that one up there, but that's fine. We can go ahead and just break this oh so carefully. And then eventually we're gonna go ahead and then bring this thing back from behind here. Wow, that was a lot of patterns. Oh, it's so painful. It's so painful. I put so much work into those. Okay, yes, I will be able to make it in one more. However, I'm gonna hold off from doing that as this will just sap power with no real purpose. So then, now that we've gotten this though, how are we actually going to connect it to this network? Because I mean, this isn't going to work. That's just going to serve to put power into it. We're going to need ourselves an external storage. This baby is not too particularly hard, but it means we're going to need to start getting the refined storage cables, which is just going to take some quartz enriched copper, which apparently they added. There we go. We can then go ahead and make ourselves 12 cables. That's actually pretty good. And then after that, I've already got everything else, some chests, some quartz enriched copper, not copper, iron. Then we're just gonna need some more of those cores I made earlier. Oh, you know what I just realized? I mixed this thing up with AE2 a while ago. I accidentally called these the formation cores and the annihilation cores. No, it's the destruction core and the construction core. Oh my goodness, I'm mixing up my mods, but there we go. Now I got all those. So that then gets me the external storage. Now, what I could do with this is, if I connect this to here, we can go ahead and finally connect our storage system. I would then be able to see anything that's in there. You see there's nothing in there right now though. But if I connect that, now that's in there. But this isn't enough. We want to be able to connect this to the entire storage system. How can we do that? Well, there's a little thing called the storage controller. I don't know if it'll work with these chests. It is a little bit of a gamble, but it should hopefully be able to work. So all we're going to need for us to get this is going to be these two comparators, and then just any one of the sophisticated storage type chests, which should just let us make ourselves our storage controller. Now then, this brings the interesting question into all these. Let's go ahead and break this down. That way we can just do this from underneath and just make it simple. If I put this... That's not how I want that to go. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I can connect it from underneath like this. If I go ahead and put this thing here, does that then connect it in the way that I'm wanting it to? Because if I look into here, okay, they're not touched. I believe that I needed this to touch things, but now I think I'm gonna need this thing right here, the storage tool, which I had used in the... Wait, no, I haven't used this in the past, but I saw it on things. I'm mixing up my words, and now I think we just need to make this. So this might just be like the linking tool, right? Like, well, this thing seems to think that they're connected in some way. Do I need to bind this? Okay, yeah, linked to controller, and then, oh, so does that work? That looks like it works. Okay, wait, hang on. So yeah, I have only things in those sides. So yes, this did in fact work, but does it only work for half of the chests? Because I don't know, I think it works. I'm not gonna go down the line of making the refined storage cards, at least at this phase and things, mostly because I don't need to store things into this, and I want to store things exclusively in this system, at least for the moment, until they actually add the wireless thing. The moment they add wireless connection where I can get this thing to be unlimited range, well, I'm switching completely over to refined storage. This thing's gone. But for right now, this should be good. So now that we have this, the next thing we need to do is to get ourselves some auto crafting. This can be done with the auto crafter, which is very easy stuff. We just need some more of the cores we made before and another machine casing. So now with all that, we can make ourselves the auto crafter. Now this thing is different from the way that it was done with these guys. Why is this still burnt? Yeah, whatever. These guys need to connect directly to different things, especially when crafting. You need to connect it right to a crafting table. This thing though only needs to connect to external processes when that kind of thing is required. For on itself though, we can just go ahead and then put this thing right here. I need a wrench. Where is the refined storage wrench? Yeah, that thing. It's not too difficult. Can I do that with any other wrench though? Because like, yeah, I got this one. Can I do that with this? Okay, yeah, I can. Okay, so we can go ahead and save on things as long as it's not aiming down on... Hey, Future Cookie here. You might have noticed that my audio cut out very suddenly, and that was because my mic decided to stop recording during this next segment. Fortunately, it didn't miss very much, just the important part of transitioning into the next session. What we were talking about was the crafter needs to not be facing directly down onto the storage system. As long as it does that, it works. And then we we need to put patterns into this thing. To make patterns, we needed a pattern grid, which was where we were going to transition into the next part, where I made the pattern grid, which was basically just the same as making the original grid with a new pattern. I hate that this happened, and I don't know why this happened, and I hate all of this. Bye. Alrighty, so now I got myself the normal grid, which lets me make myself the pattern grid. That is good. So we can go ahead and put that little baby right down here. And then inside of here, this will give us the different processes that we can do. We can make crafting patterns, processing patterns, things that'll go into like furnaces or machinery. For right now, all we need is to make ourselves a glorious little pattern. Just some more patterns for some more quartz enriched iron. I should actually, you know, that probably should be the first recipe on here, shouldn't it? Let's go ahead and make ourselves our pattern really quickly, and then let's go ahead and add the quartz enriched to be the first pattern of Christmas. There we go. What am I saying? Anyway, so now what we can go ahead and do is we can just go ahead and stick this baby right into here, and then we can go ahead and look it up, and there it is. So we can go ahead and craft this from all the stuff in our other system. And there we go. Now we gotten that. So after that, really all I'd need to do is just start slowly automating the creation of all the other processors and the patterns and stuff. And then we'll be able to get ourselves even more auto crafting in different places. Now, with this, I'm not going to fully make integrated dynamics processes here defunct. Like, those guys are the constant processes. However, everything on this other furnace over here at the end, I think we would be better off without. So let's just go ahead and then disconnect this guy in its entirety. After that, I just need to go ahead and then start building up the processes for everything else here, and we should be pretty much good. Oh, hey, and actually, this is a pretty good place to show what I was talking about earlier with this guy being like, you know, very finicky whenever you put in the wrong things. It never has leeway if there's anything else that can be a good recipe for it. But here, I would need to actually configure that. If I put fuzzy mode, it would need to match the power inputs exactly, so I'd need quartz enriched iron and andesite. However, since that's not the case, I can do this with pretty much any stone, I'm pretty certain. So if I was to go ahead and then search up my andesite, gosh, I have a lot of that. No wonder that's gonna be good. But then after that, I would just need other stone. Yeah, I've gotten that. So if I were to go ahead and then ask for a casing, it should be unable to make it. Oh, no, I need to turn fuzzy mode on for that to work. Okay, so we'll turn fuzzy mode on, so it needs to match the pattern inputs and use alternatives. So then I can go ahead and put that into there. And yeah, now you can see it flickering to different stones. So now if I was to go ahead and then ask for the casing, yeah, then it'll pull from the stone. There we go. That's good. That's good. So that means I just need to click one extra button rather than needing to configure exact recipes that I need. It'll just use whatever I have at the time. Also, while I'm here, I've discovered something. Apparently this process behind me, which I was just turning back on so that way I could get more sand from it, apparently this mod doesn't actually do the things that I thought it did because of mod updates, because the diamond ore piece has said that it will be removed in a future mod update. That's kind of bad, but also kind of good, because this means I now have incentive to actually pursue bees, which was added to the mod pack, because now I need another way to start generating resources. Neat.
5 minutes later.
Alrighty, so I've been a little bit busy. I managed to get myself another auto crafter, and I managed to get myself all the patterns I need so that way I can start automating making more auto crafters, which is really good. However, for this one over at the furnace, it is going to be a bit inefficient since I would need to keep putting in coal and taking it out. Fortunately, there is an exporter here, and this is going to allow me to do something I've been wanting to do. We'll be able to start automatically putting in tiny coal rather than normal coal. All we need to do is put in that thing for tiny coal, and whilst having a recipe for making tiny coal, we're then going to need to make ourselves this auto crafting upgrade. It's just some quartz enriched iron, a construction core, some crafting tables, and an upgrade, which is just an improved core, some quartz enriched iron, and some glass. That gets us the upgrade, and then we can go ahead and, I guess, make a little bit more of the quartz enriched stuff to then get ourselves our auto crafting upgrade. So now we can go ahead and throw this right into here. And what this will do is it'll start auto-crafting that coal until this inventory spot is filled up. So we can go ahead and throw our normal coal back over into here, and then we can put this there, and then it's gonna start crafting it. Now keep in mind, for every coal, we then get 8 tiny coal, because each tiny coal will smelt 1 item, and a coal will smelt 8. So it makes it more efficient that way in case I need to do like less than an 8 amount. It just makes this all the more easy. Now with all of this put into place, we should be good. We just need to go ahead and grab ourselves another crafter, an auto crafter. We can see everything is in order, and it's gonna want me to craft silicone, which I put in the recipe. So let's go ahead and craft it. There we go. Now, there are gonna be, unfortunately, some things that are gonna be a bit of a miss, such as this early thing right here, the processing bind. Because I don't have an automation for string or slime just yet, those guys are gonna be a bit iffy. I know how to get them easy, it's just that it won't be completely automatic like I am liking it to. I just need to get more crafters, that way I can fit in more recipes. There are upgraded crafters, it looks like. I might actually be able to make myself this elite crafter, which may actually be able to hold more patterns. I don't know, I'm gonna test that here in a second. But there we go, it tells me when it is done. Here it is, our auto crafter. Alrighty, so now I would just need to make 3 more of these for this elite auto crafter, and some blocks of iron and another advanced processor, and we should be good. Alrighty, well, I got everything, so let's go ahead and make ourselves this elite auto crafter, which takes a bunch of blocks of iron, and then we can just hook this thing up next to here. We don't want you facing that way, we want you facing this way. And yes, it does add more. Oh, that is good. Okay then, so I should probably try to shift some more of these out with that then, shouldn't I? Because if I'm able to do that, then I'll be able to save a lot more on space, because I did pick a little bit of a spot for this, but this is fine. And the best part is, I can still go up. Like, there's ultra auto crafting, there's mega, but that takes up dragon head and netherite, which is probably not the best, but still though, this is good. So did you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last All the Mods 11 video, where we went into apotheosis and increased our power. Bye!